Hey thinkers, I'm Jess, a licensed therapist in both mental health and addiction. I wanted to talk about something that's near and dear to me, something that I've played a lot in early childhood and into my early adulthood, which is Legend of Zelda. I'm a big fan of the Nintendo 64 games, both Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. I even have some dedication tattoos on my arm that I'm still working on finishing. So I wanted to dive into Tears of the Kingdom. Breath of the Wild is a beautiful game, and there's no doubt that Tears of the Kingdom is going to be just as beautiful. So I wanted to watch some clips from the beginning of the game, so spoiler, if you have not played the game and you're wanting to play it or you haven't seen these clips, stop here, don't continue, because I don't want you guys upset in the comment section saying, oh my gosh, you spoiled it. No, here's your disclaimer, don't continue, but if you want to watch some of this with me and just kind of see my commentary, let's keep going. Okay, so we've got Zelda and Link, looks like they're in some kind of cavern.
Ready for anything, but I know I'll be okay with you, Link.
Always on some kind of adventure, right?
Let's go solve this mystery.
So the takeaway I got from that was Zelda leaning on Link for his strength. And in all the games, Link is this big hero. In Ocarina of Time, he was the hero of time. He was the destined one. In all the games, this is true. It reminds me of the term hero complex or hero syndrome. Link doesn't align with this, but let me talk about what this is. If any of you have watched the Pixar film, The Incredibles, Syndrome is one that comes to mind. He definitely had a hero complex. Another disclaimer, if you haven't watched that movie, just skip forward a minute or so. Syndrome was the antagonist of the Incredibles film. Essentially, he had the idea of he wanted to create all these gadgets because he was a genius, so everybody can be like Mr. Incredible. He designed this plan so his creation would go and wreak havoc and then he would go and save the day. That is the essence of hero complex. It refers to a psychological phenomenon where the person wants to be seen as the hero. People with a hero complex often feel that they are uniquely qualified to be a hero in solving a particular problem or issue. They also feel that they need to have a strong recognition or acknowledgement for the things that they have done. Now, self-effacing, on the other hand, is the exact opposite of the hero complex, and that's where I would put Link. Link is very self-sacrificing, and if anything, he does not want recognition. He tries to lead a quiet, humble life. Like in Twilight Princess, he starts off as a farmer, very humble beginnings, and he gets thrust, like with every game, into this tumultuous whirlwind of an adventure that we all know and love to play. Okay, it's very dark, and I'm going to guess that that's Ganon with some kind of hand, glowy hand there. And there must be the Tear of the Kingdom. It's one tear, it's not plural. The first thing that comes to mind to me is all the darkness, and where graphically, it's beautiful. Both the games of Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild are absolutely stunning, but that dark cavern just feels really phobic to me, and it brings to mind something called nyctophobia. Nyctophobia is an anxiety disorder characterized by having an intense fear of the dark. Surprisingly, nyctophobia is very common in adults. I myself enjoy sleeping with a nightlight. There's a little bit about me that's kind of embarrassing. So when I watch this clip with Zelda and Link, I also just have a lot of anticipation of what's going to happen. We had Calamity Ganon in Breath of the Wild, so I just wonder kind of how the reincarnation is going to be. If you guys have any clues that maybe I'm not up to the know about, post it in the comments. I'd love to get your theories or what you guys are going to think happens. Be sure to be mindful of spoilers, because there are people that are watching this that have not played the game yet. Well, now he's awake, who I assume is Ganon, and he is powered up and he's charged. He is causing quite the ruckus right now. Causes a lot of mayhem and destruction. I see this situation, especially with Link or Zelda, as a flight, fight, or freeze situation. Fight, flight, or freeze is commonly associated with your body's reaction to a threat, or a perceived threat in this situation. It describes the body's instinctive and autonomic responses to a perceived threat. Fight is more of your confrontational, where you're going to confront whatever the threat is. Flight, I think, is pretty self-explanatory. You run away. Or you freeze. Freezing is really beneficial in a situation where maybe being camouflaged is the best option. I think of possums a lot when they play dead when I think of that one. Both fight and flight have adrenaline involved. And there are definitely cases of adrenaline where people really execute a display of extreme strength. That is called hysterical strength. And in those cases, people usually end up harming themselves. You think of someone trying to lift a car off of a loved one, and there are cases of people doing that, but they end up getting harmed. You can probably read or look up different stories on Google if you're interested. Here we have the assumed Ganon causing just destruction. And I guess he's out of power. I don't know. He's disappeared. And the temple underground falls apart. There goes Zelda. And Link, he in his fight flight or freeze has chosen to fight in this sense, go after Zelda. And he doesn't end up making it. And she disappears in some kind of shimmering gold, I guess. And that arm, that creepy arm that was on Ganon, saves Link. And there goes Link. So that scene honestly gives me chills. It shows a lot of what the game's going to be about, I'm assuming. So really exciting. This scene really brings to mind what's called survivor's guilt. It's a psychological condition where people feel guilty that they have survived a traumatic event or experience where maybe others have not. I think about survivors of war and how they may have watched a comrade perish either right in front of them or they've heard a story, and that creates a lot of survivor's guilt. In this case, we have Zelda that dissipates in some kind of gold shimmering light, and Link doesn't know what happened. We assume she's not dead because the game is named Legend of Zelda, but still, we don't know. Link doesn't know, and he was the one that basically survived because he was saved by this very zombie glowy arm thing. Looks like he has survived, and this arm is attaching to him. I'm guessing by the previous clip, his arm was injured. So we have him sitting up, and he looks defeated. This particular scene, and really all of the games, encompass what I would call CPTSD for Link. I'm not giving him a diagnosis, this is all just hypothetical and he's a fictional character, but CPTSD stands for Complex Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder. It is a psychological disorder that is developed with those that have repeated trauma that they have experienced. PTSD typically is one event that is highly traumatic, but when we have complex disorders, it is repeated layered trauma that people have experienced, and that's what makes it complex. There's not a doubt in my mind that Link probably would be experiencing some CPTSD, especially if we're going from Breath of the Wild into Tears of the Kingdom. All the other games he seems to have some reincarnation, but this one seems like it flows from one to the other. So Link, I'm wishing you the best, and I hope that you do well by the end of this game. If you want to watch more of my videos, click somewhere here at the top. I'll put a playlist that you can just go and check out more of what it is I do and ramble on about. And until next time, stay positive and take care of yourself. All this is on camera, by the way.